started now. You guys don't want to hear me ramble on about how excited I am about our bioactive precision peptides, but I think you'll hear that in my voice tonight as I continue our educational series here. So let me just say something. So you think you've heard of peptides? We've got this neat little slide here that we developed, and it basically says "think again." And let me tell you what that is referring to. That's referring to me. And so, over the course of the last several years, I've been working on my PhD in biochemistry and human performance. And one of the sections of my dissertation is on peptides, but it was not on bioactive peptides. It was on therapeutic peptides. And so when I first started talking with Justin Prince and Truman Hunt about coming on board with Make Wellness as their director of science, one of the things that I had to get through my, and I'll call it thick skull, because it is a little bit thick, because I'm a very, very skeptical person. As a scientist, I have to question everything. I have to critically appraise everything. And so when they were talking about bioactive peptides and bioactive precision peptides specifically, I had to really do a deep dive into the research and the literature to understand how these things actually did exist in nature, how they were protected. And we're going to talk a lot about that tonight. But let me just say that after I did a deep dive on the research, I became a believer, and I could not sign up with Make Wellness fast enough. So I'm excited to be here, and hopefully I can convey what I have learned over the last several months about bioactive peptides. And I want you to understand that these are extremely different than any other peptide that you've heard of, the injectable peptides, the therapeutic peptides. They're very, very different. And over the course of our educational series, you'll understand more and more about those differences. But tonight, let's talk a little bit more about what are bioactive precision peptides. So you have to understand that bioactive precision peptides are usually between 2 and 20 amino acids in length, but some of them can be up to 50 amino acids. So a peptide is recognized really as an amino acid chain comprised of anywhere from 2 to 50 amino acids. Anything more than 50 is considered to be a protein. The bioactive precision peptides that we utilize in our products are typically usually between 2 and 20 amino acids in length. Now, bioactive precision peptides, and here's one of the major differences in other peptides, they are naturally derived from plant and animal sources. Now, this is very exciting when you think about it. We'll talk a little bit more about that, and I'll make a point about that here in just a second. But I want you to think about how many plant and animal species we have on this massive earth that we live on. And it becomes, when you start thinking about that and you start thinking about each species can have several thousand peptides within each single specific species, the numbers become astronomical as to the possibilities that we're talking about with bioactive precision peptides. Now, bioactive precision peptides play roles in optimizing neurotransmitter and hormone function. And you're going to hear that word a lot, optimizing. And I want you to focus on optimizing, because I'll explain why here in just a little bit. Bioactive precision peptides, they aid in wound healing, skin health. They aid in muscle building, and they also aid in many other and support many other physiological functions, as we have discussed previously in other trainings. And we will continue retraining and retraining and retraining. And let me tell you, that's very important for me to make really clear to you guys. What we're going to talk about tonight is a little bit specific on bioactive peptides and one specific product, but we're going to continue this education process. We're going to have tons of educational material so that you can understand the power of our peptides. So when I talked a little bit about naturally derived from plant animal sources, think about this. There are over 7,000 peptides that have been discovered in the human body, with more being rapidly discovered as we speak. So we haven't even identified all of the peptides that exist in humans yet. And then billions more exist undiscovered, untouched in nature. So imagine the possibilities that exist with bioactive precision peptides. That is where it gets really exciting, especially for me as a product formulator. So bioactive precision peptides are safe with no side effects. They do not replace our body's natural biochemistry. Okay. And that's very important that you understand that. They are not a replacement for our biochemistry. Bioactive precision peptides are classified as nutraceutical dietary supplements. They're not classified as pharmaceuticals. They are not prescription drugs. They are not regulated as such. They are dietary supplements basically derived from food sources. Okay. They have enhanced stability due to structural features that are built in by nature's peptide production process. We always talk about nature internally. We talk about nature being the greatest manufacturer that we have ever seen, because when nature does it right, it does it perfectly. And so we have to figure out, and we'll discuss this a little bit more in more detail here in a few minutes as well, but we have to figure out how to preserve nature's perfect creation. And that's our job. And that's where technology comes into play. So bioactive precision peptides, they are very broad with multiple mechanisms of action. So what do we mean by that? So bioactive precision peptides do not work on a one target, one action approach like drugs do. Okay. Remember that phrase right there. One target, one action. That's what drugs do. Bioactive precision peptides do not do that. Okay. They are naturally surrounded by many other supporting peptides that can also influence the desired mechanisms of actions that we seek when we take our bioactive precision peptides. Bioactive precision peptides do not interfere with the body's own internal regulatory systems. And as a result of that, they will not trigger negative feedback mechanisms. So in other words, what I'm saying when I say negative feedback mechanisms, bioactive precision peptides do not replace the function of biochemicals found in our body, which would make our body essentially stop producing that biochemical. And we do not want to disrupt our body's natural processes. What we want to do is to enhance those processes. And that's the power. When I talked about optimize a while ago, that's what we're doing. It's optimization of the human body. And so as a result, bioactive precision peptides possess very broad health benefits for prevention and for health and for wellness. So let's talk a little bit about the protective mechanism that are in place, the encryption and the hydrolysis technology. And so you have to understand why this is important. And it really is very, very important to understand, because it's this technology here that sets us apart from anybody else that are going to try to come out, and believe me, it's going to happen. Anybody that's going to try to come out and copy our products, they better be willing to spend the amount of money that's been invested in developing the technology to preserve and to protect our bioactive peptides. So the innate, I-N-N-A-T-E, innate protective mechanisms of the bioactive peptides, they are preserved to ensure stability and bioavailability. And here's how that happens. They are encrypted in a protein peptide matrix. So what does that mean? Well, let me take our FIT product to begin with. And I always kind of revert back to FIT, because FIT is our cornerstone product. It is the most powerful bioactive precision peptide product that we have. And it is a tremendous product. But if you look at, there are two primary peptides that we look at in FIT. Those two peptides are actually encrypted in a protein peptide matrix that includes over 4,000 other protein fragments, and peptides that protect those two primary peptides. Okay, so that's what we mean when we say encrypted. Remember, it's not a one drug, or it's not a one compound. It's not a one peptide, one target function. This is multiple peptides combined together to support the biological activity of our primary peptides and ensure that those peptides meet their targets, the target responses that we intend for them to induce on our bodies. So our technology is what preserves the protective nature of that encryption. In other words, when we're talking about the hydrolysis technology of building our peptides, that hydrolysis technology is impacted in many ways. It's impacted by the environment that it undergoes. It's impacted by pH. It's impacted by things such as the type of proteolytic enzyme. It's impacted by temperature. It's impacted by shear, which is basically the speed of mixing that we basically come in and mix our concentrates in. And so there are so many environmental factors that have to be taken into consideration. And if one of those factors is wrong, then those peptides are not going to exist in our products. So that's where the technology exists. The technology exists in the process of building, preserving, and protecting a manufacturing process that can ensure that we have stable and bioavailable bioactive precision peptides. Additionally, there are structural features that are actually built in, and these are the innate structural features, the protective features that provide the additional protections for our peptides. Let me give you an example of a couple of those. So there are specific amino acids, one such amino acid being proline, that are basically placed very strategically within the peptides that protect the peptide sequence from cleavage by enzymes or other substances inside the body. Also, there are certain amino acids on the terminal ends of the peptides that act as direct cleavage sites, so the peptides can be separated from proteins or longer peptides and freed up to perform their functions. So you have the cleavage sites, and then you have the amino acids that protect those sequences from being cleaved or broken apart. So there are two innate protective mechanisms that are built in naturally to our bioactive precision peptides. So bioactive peptide, let's talk a little bit about absorption and transport. And this again is very important. So bioactive precision peptides are smaller in size than proteins. Remember, ours are typically from 2 to 20 amino acids in length, whereas proteins are 51 amino acids and can be up to literally thousands and thousands of amino acids in size. So smaller in size than proteins makes them more bioavailable. It also makes them less allergenic, and it makes them more stable when they are ingested. Okay, so this small size combined with the encryption, combined with the cleavage sites and the cleavage prevention or inhibition sites, makes our bioactive precision peptides very stable when they are ingested. Other peptides and proteins, and this is part of that protein peptide matrix, but these other peptides and proteins protect the bioactive precision peptides throughout the entire digestive process. I did a presentation last weekend in Nashville, and I did it with a naturopath. Her name is Brooke. And Brooke had an awesome analogy talking about how the other peptides, and she basically described it as being, it's the difference between driving a Volkswagen through a landmine or a landmine field versus an armored Humvee through a landmine field. And it's when you have, and that comparison is therapeutic peptides, which are totally, totally unprotected, versus bioactive precision peptides, which have all these other proteins and all these other peptides that actually act as sort of casualties of war, protecting our active bioactive precision peptides and ensuring that they get to their targeted spot so that they can elicit their mechanism of action. And I thought that was a great analogy. Our bioactive precision peptides are like armored cars delivering their troops to go to war for our bodies. And that's a great way of looking at it. So bioactive precision peptides are a new generation of nutrition technology. And so how do we address that? So let me address it this way. In 33 years of being in this business as a product formulator and as a manufacturer, this is the first new piece of innovation that we have seen in the dietary supplement industry that can significantly impact health and wellness. And guys, I've been in this industry a long time, and it's one of the common complaints. Where's the new innovation? What are we innovating? How are we innovating? What are we creating? What are we making new? We take a powder and we put it into a liquid. It's not really innovation. That just changes delivery systems. Well, let me tell you something. In 33 years of building products, this is the first time that I have had something innovative to work with. And this innovation is the discovery of naturally occurring food-derived cell signaling peptides that can optimize the body's ability to perform particular functions. Now, these bioactive precision peptides are not meant to replace our body's natural abilities, but to optimize its physiological function. So for 33 years, we've built the same old Me Too stuff. I was on a call this morning, and that's what I heard. My energy drink's better than your energy drink. My this is better than yours. It's just a common comparison of the same old Me Too stuff. Well, not anymore. Make Wellness has a new generation of nutrition technology. So understand that bioactive precision peptides are crucial to human physiological function. And this is especially true as we get older, we get less healthy, we get more stressed, we get more fatigued. So our bodies, as we age and as we get all of these things, it needs help. It needs help. And bioactive precision peptides can help. Now, that's not to take away that we have herbs and botanicals and we have other products that can help. There are a lot of dietary supplements that are very beneficial to the human body, but there are no other dietary supplement that are as crucial to optimizing physiological function as bioactive precision peptides are. So we are truly at the cusp of revolutionizing health and nutritional sciences. Very few bioactive precision peptides have been brought to the market, and yet there are still millions that are waiting to be discovered. So this means that we are literally on the verge of unlocking the true potential of nature. Understand that, okay? We are just getting started. And this is going to be, let me tell you something. I heard Justin Prince say today, Tesla owns electric vehicles. There are a lot of other companies that have electric vehicles, but when you talk about electric vehicles, you talk about Tesla. Well, let me tell you something. When you talk about bioactive precision peptides, you're going to talk about Make Wellness, because we are going to own that space. We are going to plant our flag, and we are going to fight the battle to keep that hill ours. And people are going to understand that Make Wellness is the bioactive precision peptide company. Let's move on, and now let's talk a little bit about a bit of a problem that we're all dealing with, especially in this world that we live in today. And I don't know that, as a biochemist and scientist, I don't know that I've ever seen something that impacts so many people as stress does. And stress can lead to feelings of anxiety. It can lead to feelings of hopelessness. And every single person in this world deals with some level of stress on a daily basis. But there are times when that stress is absolutely overwhelming. And it's at times like this that we may need some help to help our bodies control stress. So, how serious is this problem? If you look at stress, you've got an issue that 1 out of every 3 adults will experience an anxiety disorder at some point during their lives. 1 out of 3. So 33%, that's 110 million people in the United States alone, not counting when we expand into other countries, and that will happen. So 33% of the United States population experiences anxiety disorders. 24% of adults have a perceived stress level above 8 on a scale of 10. Okay. That's 1/4 of that 330 million people in the United States. That is significant. That is significant. You think that stress, I mean, we hear it all the time. Stress is a killer. Stress causes all kinds of potential problems to our body. 66% of adults are anxious about their health. Okay. And I'll tell you what, we better get control of that. That one thing right there, our health, is what Make Wellness is all about. And it's about taking control of our health. And it's about gaining control of our health. And it's about taking back control of our health from the big pharmaceutical companies who want us on 5 drugs. It's about getting out and doing the things that we have to do to control our own bodies, be accountable for ourselves. But 66%, 2/3 of the US population are anxious about their health. And 70% of adults are worried about the safety of their families. And I will tell you, I'm in that 70% of the adults because I have 4 kids. I've got 2 kids. I've got one son that lives way down in South Texas on the border. And you think we've got problems on the border? You don't see anything about the problems that we've really got on the border. And he lives right down there in the middle of that. I've got 3 kids that live in the middle of the city. And if we live in the city, you've got to be conscious of safety at all times. And as parents, I know that my wife and I are constantly worried about the safety of our kids. And I'm sure that you guys are parents as well. If you've got parents, you can also bet that they are worried about you. So what is the solution for our stress surge? Our solution is a product called Make Wellness Calm. And let me tell you something. I love this product, okay? And I describe it like this. Make Wellness Calm. I can be nervous. I can be worried about whatever it is that I'm worried about. And I can take a calm, and man, I tell you what, it's like taking a nice warm blanket on a cool evening and wrapping up next to a fireplace and just absolutely chilling out. And that's the best description of calm that I can give for you. It's like wrapping up in a nice warm blanket, and you're going to feel a warmth come over your body, and you're going to feel a calmness come over your body. But let's really talk about what calm is, and let's talk about why that happens, because I can sit here and tell you this, but you need to understand why that is going on. So calm is a natural stress relief and relaxation formula that promotes calmness and mental well-being. It's a comprehensive formula that targets multiple aspects of stress and relaxation. It's a combination of 4 powerful nutrients that work synergistically together to modulate the adverse effects of chronically elevated stress hormones, which can lead, if you've got elevated stress hormones, this can lead to elevated blood pressure, hypertension. It can lead to overwhelming anxiety. I'm kind of hit some high points on each one of these that we're about to talk about. These ingredients, these nutrients work synergistically together to support neurotransmitter balance, which improves mood. It improves motivation. It improves cognition. It also helps to promote brainwave activity, which alpha brainwave activity is actually reduced during times of stress. And that reduced alpha brainwave activity contributes to our anxiety. It makes it difficult to relax, and it impairs our cognitive function. And so we have a multifaceted approach to dealing with stress and helping our bodies to relax. So there is the potential for both immediate and long-term benefits. And Calm also supports brain health and brain resilience. So Calm is a potent bioactive precision peptide support product designed to reduce stress, improve sleep quality, enhance cognitive function, and boost mood. And so there are many benefits of taking Calm. So one of the first benefits is stress reduction. So it helps us manage our daily stressors, and it helps promote a sense of calm and relaxation. It helps improve sleep quality, which supports better sleep onset and duration, which is very important for brain health. It's also important. It's one of the 4 pillars to optimal health is sleep quality. So Calm will help us to reduce nighttime awakenings, which negatively impacts our sleep quality as well. Calm supports enhanced cognitive function by improving focus and concentration. And Calm actually supports mental clarity without causing us to be sedated. And that's very important. We don't want to be sedated. We don't want to basically be in a state of non-functionality. We want to have good mental clarity with nice, calm focus. It helps us to support our mood. So it helps us to balance our emotions, and it helps promote a positive outlook on our body. And so there are numerous benefits to the product, multifaceted product, multifactorial benefits that Calm provides. And so let's talk now about some of the key ingredients in Calm. And so one of the most exciting ingredients in Calm is a botanical called Ashwagandha. And Ashwagandha is an ancient Ayurvedic herb. It has been around for literally thousands of years. And Ashwagandha is an adaptogen that helps manage stress by lowering cortisol levels. It helps to decrease feelings of anxiety. It helps control heart rate and blood pressure, which are massively increased under times of stress. It also helps us enhance our mood by balancing neurotransmitters. So balance, when you get in a stressful situation, what happens is we have certain neurotransmitters that are elevated and other neurotransmitters that are inhibited. And it's that elevation of those neurotransmitters, those extra excitatory neurotransmitters, that cause us to have those feelings of anxiousness. And so by eliminating that or inhibiting that imbalance in our neurotransmitters, we can actually enhance our mood. And ashwagandha has also been proven to improve sleep quality and reduce anxiousness as well. The next ingredient that we have in the product, the next nutrient, is lemon balm. So lemon balm is an herb that is basically from the mint family, and it's known for its calming properties. It enhances mood and cognitive function. It also improves sleep quality as well. And you're going to hear a lot about sleep quality as we're talking about this, because stress seriously inhibits our ability to sleep and get good quality sleep. And most people know that when they're stressed, they have a really bad habit of waking up at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Their mind's going 1,000 miles an hour. They can't shut it down. They're stressed, and all it does is just add more and more and more stress. So sleep quality is a very, very important component of handling and dealing with stress. So lemon balm extract has also been shown to lower heart rate and blood pressure responses to stress and anxiety. The next ingredient is an ingredient called GABA, or gamma aminobutyric acid. GABA is a natural neurotransmitter that occurs in the brain, and this neurotransmitter actually prevents our brain from becoming overly excited. In other words, it kind of helps our brain relax a little bit. And so it significantly reduces stress levels. It supports mental calmness and brain function. It promotes relaxation and reduces nervous system activity, that overly excited feeling that you get when you're anxious. GABA actually helps to reduce that and eliminate that. It also can help with sleep and anxiousness or anxiety. And another beautiful thing about GABA is that it can reduce mental fatigue as well. And so one of the things that happens to us when we're overly anxious, overly excited, overly stressed is that we get mentally fatigued. And that's why when we're overly stressed, we have basically I call it brain rot. It's when writer's block is another word for it. It's when you literally get so stressed that you cannot function. And so GABA has the ability to mitigate that mental fatigue aspect of stress. The next ingredient, and this is an awesome ingredient as well, and it's an amino acid. So this L-Theanine is an amino acid found in green tea. L-Theanine promotes relaxation without drowsiness. It creates a state of relaxed alertness. I love that saying about L-Theanine, relaxed alertness. And so L-Theanine has the ability to impart relaxed alertness on our body. It improves focus and attention. It improves recovery from stressful situations. So have you ever been in a stressful situation and come out of that stressful situation feeling absolutely exhausted? And you literally want to just sleep for days because you've been dealing with so much stress. Your adrenal glands are taxed to the max. Cortisol levels are maxed out. Well, let me tell you something. L-Theanine has the ability to help our bodies normalize cortisol level and overcome that stress-related fatigue. So we actually recover from those stressful situations in a much shorter period of time. It's a very, very powerful amino acid. So usage and dosage. So Calm is super easy to use. You guys remember, now I'm old. You have to understand, I'm old. And I remember as a kid having these little straws called pixie sticks. And I don't know if you guys will remember that or not. I'm not sure when pixie sticks, went out as kids, but pixie sticks are little straws full of powder, and you just take that powder and you put it under your tongue or put it in your mouth and dissolve it. Well, that's what Calm is. It's essentially in a little stick pack. It's a very, very small dosage, 2.53 grams. You take that sachet, you open it up, and you just put it under your tongue, and you let it dissolve. You swallow it. If you need to, you follow it with water, but I can promise you, I don't think you're going to need to, because it is such a great tasting, great flavored product. You're actually going to want to leave it in your mouth longer than what it's going to last. And it is a fantastic product to be used that way. So you just pour it in your mouth and you let it dissolve and then swallow it and just, let it just enjoy it. That's the best way to describe it. Just enjoy it. So it's best taken in the evening for optimal results. But I will tell you this, if you're at a place where you are just massively stressed and you need some help, take it. Use the product as it's meant to be used to help us overcome that deleterious effects of stress. And so it can be used as needed for, again, for acute stress situations. So in closing tonight's training, let me leave you with some final thoughts. So Make Wellness Calm is ideal for individuals with high stress lifestyles. So anytime that you're in a very, very stressful situation, you need some relaxation, you need to kind of get control of yourself, it is perfect for that. So it's perfect also for those that are experiencing occasional sleeplessness. It is perfect for people who seek some natural cognitive support. And when I say cognitive, I'm talking about cognitive function that's impacted by a stressful situation or overwhelming stress, either one. And then it's great for anyone looking to enhance their overall well-being because it helps us to balance so many things within our neurotransmitters, within our minds, within our brains. It is an absolute fantastic product for so many people. So I want to thank you for joining me tonight. One of the things that gives me the greatest pleasure in life is to teach people how to take care of themselves. And so I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Please get with the individual that invited you to this call. Have a discussion with them. Come be a part of Make Wellness. We have something so exciting going on, and we are going to impact the world in ways that nobody has ever seen before. And so if you're interested in learning more about our products, please join us every Thursday night at 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Please join us every Thursday night as we continue our educational series on Make Wellness products. You guys have an awesome night, and I look forward to seeing you next Thursday.